Hello, welcome back to Snacks and Stacks. This is kind of a new angle, but it's just a quick little intro for this completed series challenge vlog. So, I like to talk about books, TV shows, and movies, and one of my challenges for myself is to go through my bookshelves and read some of the completed series that I own. Sometimes I only own the first book, sometimes I've collected the whole series. Who knows what I've done? It just depends on what I find and what I find on sale. So what I do is I read the first chapter of a selected few books and then pick from there and then read the whole series. This series that I chose, eventually you'll see the process. Eventually I choose the Arc of the Sycthe trilogy, and I think the whole trilogy took me a course of a few months, and so there's a lot of clips in here and they're not all that great, but hopefully it's a fun enough vlog to watch. And a lot of this was also filmed on my phone, so it's not the greatest quality, but hopefully you guys will still enjoy it. Let me know if you like this style of videos or if you would just prefer kind of a recap of the books. I was just trying out something new, so please let me know if you like it. If you don't, that's cool to know too. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next clip. Hi. Excuse my pajamas and my zit sticker. So I'm gonna start on one of these three trilogies that is part of my completed series challenge, completed series off my shelf challenge. I can't think of a shorter name for that. But oops. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read a chapter from each one and pick one to go with. So let's start with The Knife of Never Letting Go. Okay, so one chapter in of The Knife of Never Letting Go. And I have to say that the writing style is very like sort of stream of consciousness, repetitive on purpose. They have words that are misspelled so that you can kind of hear the accent that they are trying to go for in this town, and it's very interesting. So the premise of this, I know, is that people can hear everyone's thoughts. And I've forgotten some of the things that other booktubers have said about it, but in the first chapter you learn that there's only men in this world, and that you're considered a man when you turn 13. So our main character, Todd, is about to be 13. He is a month before he is also a man, and when you're a man, you go into town. And so he is near a swamp, and it's just doing some introductory things to the world building, showing you that they all are fearful of a god who can hear, and also our main character Todd has heard a little blip of silence or can't hear. So because they're always constantly hearing the thoughts of other men and animals, this little blip of silence is very loud to him. And so him and his dog went to try to find the silence. And so that's pretty much the first chapter. My immediate thoughts is that it's pretty cool. Like I am liking that it's so different from anything I've read so far. But not so different that it's like hard, I guess. It does remind me a little bit of some of the other books I've read. I've read another book that had multiple POVs, and one of them was very stream of consciousness, but it wasn't quite like this. It does definitely put you in the shoes of a young boy who's like trying to survive, it feels like. So I liked this so far. If I had to give it out of 5, I would say a 3.5 so far, just from the first chapter. Now we're gonna try Sycthe because it's up top. Oh, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, what if you found a girl? That's what I was thinking. Okay, this is upside down. Sycthe is about, I know it's about like a dystopian world where they have made it so that there's no more illnesses, which is the opposite of the knife of never letting go. Apparently there was a germ that killed a bunch of people and all the women. So me and my dystopian right now, I guess. Okay, so I had to turn off my camera last night because my husband came to bed, and I didn't want to bug him, but I did read the first chapter of Sycthe, and in my notes, I said this is super tense. Like the first chapter, you have this Sycthe coming into someone's home, and everyone there is like, who are they? Are they coming in to take someone? And they call it gleaning when they kill someone, because in this society, civilization is perfect and people live forever, and it's their job to cull the clan, for lack of a better word. So it was super tense, and I liked the writing a lot in the sense of like how it builds up this tension. I think the main character, Sycthe, was very forward, very much being like, why are you here? And I like that about her. So I rated that first chapter, a 4 out of 5. So I do think that it would be a nice next series to read, in particular because I just finished another dystopian book and I kind of want to like compare the two. So that would be interesting. And then I read the first chapter of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. And even though I've heard a lot about this book, like how it's like very cozy and really good at with like talking about fairies, that's not super shiny fae. I don't think I was expecting the writing style to be kind of older 1900s, and so it took me a little bit to get used to that, but I did like it a lot. It's probably also a 4 out of 5, but I'm a little bit concerned that since it's set in London, I think The Secret Garden might also be set in London. I have to look that up, but for some reason I feel like it's not American, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm afraid the two stories might be a little bit too similar. However, I do need to start on Emily Wilde soon because I have the third book on hold from my library, and it's supposed to come into my Libby in like 6 to 7 weeks. I can always push it out a couple weeks if I need to, but I'm also just like nervous. But yeah, I might start a chapter of The Secret Garden just to see if it's too similar, then I won't pick it up. So it looks like I'm not great at vlogging. I picked up Sycthe because that was my favorite of the 3 series that I started when I read a chapter of all of those and read the whole book, and I liked it so much. I wouldn't say I loved it. I do feel like it is YA, and so I forgive it for certain things, like some predictability and also just some of the one note of characters. But I think it's written in that way on purpose. So I still really like it. I like the world building, and I really like the characters that we're following. I like some of the questions that you have when you are put in a position like a Sycthe's position. And so, yeah, so far I love that book a lot, and I'm really excited to continue, but I need to take a break and read The Secret Garden with my friend Chelsea, as well as my book club book. But I will be going back to the Arc of the Scythe and reading the second book because I have that one. So I will read the second one as soon as possible, and then remember to vlog that experience. Hey, again, I'm so bad at doing vlogs, but I even put the books
super far away. Okay. Oh, is Sadie gonna join us? This is quite an angle. The room is so dirty. The room is a mess. We're gonna show people this? Okay, that's fine. Okay. I'm sorry, I have to take every time. Like, if she's willing, we're gonna hang out with her. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. My phone's kind of far. I am on the toll now, which means I have finished Thunderhead. Right, Sadie? We finished this. This took us a while. So Thunderhead, will you hold that up for me, baby girl? She's like, I don't have fingers. Okay. Thunderhead is a good sequel. I will say that there might be some middle book syndrome in that we introduce a brand new character, and I feel like we spend a ton of time with him. We also, I think the Thunderhead was like, we had like 1 or 2 journal entries from the Thunderhead in the first book, but in the second book, nearly all the journal entries are from the Thunderhead. So that is essentially a whole new character as well. So we have 2 new characters, we have new components to the world. And I think partially, not saying that YA can't do this, and I'm glad that it did, but typically I don't see YA expanding its universe so much in like the second book. And so it was fun to keep going. Oh, thank you so much. It was fun to keep going with the universe and to expand on essentially the sentient AI that rules this world, and to see more about its thought process and how it's doing what it's doing, or like maybe more why what it's doing. But I will say I felt like it was a little slow because we're piecing together a lot of different things. Yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you. You just threw up, but thank you. So I would say this was a solid 4-star book. It was good. It was a little bit slow in the beginning, but I understood why I need to do all those things. And the last maybe 15% was so fast. Like there's so much going on. So the toll, my bookmark just, it's okay. I'm only 2 chapters in. I'm like 20 pages in. And so far it feels like there's a new character again. So I'm a little bit worried that I might have the same feelings about this book being slow, and I definitely don't want a 600-page book being slow, but we'll see. I'm excited though. I'm excited to get to the conclusion. Are you? Sadie's excited too. Hello all. Sadie is in charge now. Just as I was sleeping. Okay, I'm trying to do this vlog thing correctly. So here we go. Oh, thank you, baby. I'm staying with you. Okay. I have read part 1 of The Toll. I am amazed at how much more Part 1 of The Toll has been very good. I don't think I've been talking a lot about spoilers throughout this vlog, so I'm going to try to keep this spoiler free. We have a lot of exciting things happening as a result of the big event in the last book. And right now we are introducing a couple of new characters because we need them to do things. And I find it interesting how this author has made me interested in these new characters. And even though I am trying to keep up with all of the other characters that were introduced in the first 2 books, yeah. I like that this author is not
forcing the other characters into these roles and just coming up with new characters for us to follow. But at the same time, it is hard for me because I kind of wanted an easier time reading, to be honest, to have like less characters to have to deal with. But that's on me. It's not on the author. I should have known with like a thicker book like this and this kind of big world, because we are literally going from like this much of an area to this much of an area, and now we're like this much of an area, right? So it makes sense to have more characters to give us a better view of the world. It's just like a very probably childish thought that I had, that I was like, man, another person I have to learn. So, anyways, that's how this is going. I'm excited to keep going. I'm hoping to finish this within the week, but I don't know if that will work. It looks like there are 5 parts, so I'm 1/5 of the way through. Hello, I'm reporting in. I'm trying to do this vlog thing right. I sound a little sleepy because it's early morning, but I have reached part 3 of book 3, The Toll, and I have to say that it's still very interesting, but I'm having a little bit of a hard time with the non-linear way of the storytelling in this sequel, in this 3rd book. There's a little bit of time skipping and then going back in time, but there's no time stamps for us to really get when things are happening. And so it feels a little fuzzy to me, especially since I pick up and read it in like maybe 1 to 2 chapter spurts. So there's 3 years being accounted for, and we keep skipping in between those 3 years, and you kind of have to figure it out. So I think I've done it, but I'm also not so sure. What else can I say that's not too spoilery? So far I like all the characters, including the new characters, but I felt the same way in the 2nd book as I do in the 3rd, which is if you love the characters in book 1 and 2, you will get a lot less of them as the series goes on, and it's a bit of a bummer since those are the characters that I originally fell in love with and wanted to read more about, and so it's hard for me to get this bigger cast later and then want to be interested in them. But yeah, so far that's how I'm feeling. I have maybe 20 more minutes of reading that I can do this morning, and I'm gonna try to get through more of this. So I'll see you guys at the next part, hopefully, if I remember to turn this on. I'm in the later half of The Toll. There's a non-binary character in here that's very interesting, and the most interesting term was used. I'm so tickled by it that I had to turn on my phone. He said, "I will never understand how you binaries are so attached to your birth plumbing." I just love that term so much. Like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I am at part 5 of The Toll. It is kind of late. Well, it's not really that late. It's only 10:30. But I almost feel like, do we have a new bad guy? Interesting. This has been very interesting read. A part of me, I'm not sure if I'm rushing through the end because I really want to read something else. Like, my mood is shifting. This has been quite a thick journey, and I kind of want to read something else, but I also want to finish this first. So I feel bad because I kind of like want to rush through this last part. Because I really want to know how it ends, but I'm not like quite enjoying my time as much. I don't know what that feeling is. It's very interesting. I think it's something I developed as an adult, as a person with limited time. I almost feel like I really want to know the ending, but I don't really care about the quality of my reading time. Then that's when I will sometimes also just like make my audiobook 2 times speed because I'm just like, I just want to know the end. I don't really care about like the language anymore or anything like that. And I think that kind of sucks for myself as like a person who's supposed to enjoy the story. So, yeah, I don't know how much further I'll get because I'm feeling very reflective apparently about my decisions and how I'm feeling because I keep also picking up my phone and to talk to you guys or like just picking up my phone to check anything. So I'm not totally engrossed, but I want to know how it ends and I want to finish it, but my mood has also been like changing a lot and I kind of want to like put on something to watch and try to go to bed instead of finishing this. So I know it's not gripping, but I know I want to finish it. So I don't know what that feeling is or why I feel that way, but thought I would say that. And yeah, I do think that it's the pacing has been pretty nice, but I feel like there are other parts of the story I'm missing on. And I feel like for a whole part, I'm missing some of these characters that I really love. And I'm wondering how I feel about that. Or like what is it about it that I'm not liking? Is it because I'm rushing? Sorry, excuse me. Is it because I'm rushing and that's why I feel annoyed that some of my favorite characters aren't being brought up right now? Um, but yeah, when you have a very large cast of characters and they're all in different places, it can be difficult when, for me, when other people all of a sudden get like a brief perspective and I'm like, I don't care about that guy. Give me the guys I care about. So that's kind of how I'm feeling too about some of the perspective switches in this book. It's like, I don't care. Just tell me what these people are doing, please. So yeah, let's see how far I get. I might read. Yeah, I might just read and then see if I can get interested enough to finish the book. Okay, let's do it. Hello. We have done it. We are at the end of our second completed series, and that would be the Arc of the Scythe series. Imagine the first book is here and not with my son at his camping trip with my husband. I have to say, I was a little disappointed in the ending. I think I am more of a character-driven reader than I thought I was because I felt like I didn't love any of these characters enough, and this last book was quite long. What's interesting to me is I found the whole world and stuff to be very interesting, but I got tired of it. It was almost as if a lot of the things that were happening just felt like, are we done yet? And I hate that feeling because I thought it was actually quite good. It started out nearly like a 5-star read. I didn't love the insta love. And then because I didn't believe in their romance in the first book, the fact that we end on the note of their romance, it makes it just so hard for me. And the fact that in every book we introduced more and more characters and more worlds, not worlds, but areas of the world, I just felt so disconnected. I felt so disconnected from the characters, and I like the Thunderhead a lot, but because it's like this sentient AI being, it gave me a little bit of like a creepy ick. But I think it's because there's a scene in here where I felt for it, but I also felt like it was invasive. And that's kind of the through line for the Thunderhead for me. I felt like he was invasive, or it was invasive. I really enjoyed the themes in this series, and I enjoyed how it was explored. I think the villain was so villainous, but I never really quite understood why. I think he's just a psychopath, which is fine. But I miss a little bit of that, like, I feel like that's very black and white, whereas everything else is so gray. We have, so many characters who's trying to figure out humanity and like how to be a good human. Is that even possible? And we have this sentient being who's telling you that to be human is to be both. And yet we don't see that with the villain. The villain is just terrible. So yeah, I don't want to get too much into spoilers, although this is a pretty old series, but I will say it is a worthy series to read, and I think it's a good introduction into sci-fi if that is not something, like, I personally don't read a lot of sci-fi, and I thought this was a great intro into that, and I think that it brings up a lot of themes. If I was tabbing, there's definitely quite a few quotes in here that I thought were great. Especially, like I said, the whole like humans are both. It's such a good look at humanity and what we can do. It's also an incredibly good look at religion. And I just want to say, Neil Shusterman's writing is top notch. He was able to write in so many different ways in this last book, and still it all felt cohesive. It didn't feel out of place or pretentious, which I think is so incredibly talented. Like, I don't want people to think that this is a bad series because I didn't vibe with it all the way. I still gave it 3.75 for this last book, a 4-star, I think, for this second book, and then like a 4.5 for the first book. So I'm personally disappointed that it didn't work for me and it declined, but I think that there's so much greatness in the writing style, in the way these ideas were showing up and given to us. I just feel like maybe it should have been broken up more, or maybe it should have been 2 separate series. I don't know. It just felt long and it felt a little dragging. And even though it was a little confusing at first because the last book spans 3 years and we jump in the timeline a lot, I got the sense of what was happening, even though I didn't know quite when it was happening. Oh, my microphone doing all this is probably such a pain in the ass for sound. I'm so sorry. But yeah, that's how I felt about this series. I'm excited to do my next completed series. It will probably be not in the spring like I was thinking. I had 3 planned for spring, but I won't be able to. It's nearly June. But I am thinking of doing Emily Wilde's and the Encyclopedia of Fairies for my next completed series challenge. So I hope you'll follow along. I hope these videos are getting better. I know they're not great, but I'm working at it. What completed series have you done lately? What have you been enjoying? And how do you find reading older books versus new releases? I would love to know. happy snacking, happy reading, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.